Wish you all a very blessed Shri Kumareshwara Jayanti. Jagadagala mugilagala migeyagala nimmagala ಪಾತಾಳದಿಂದತ್ತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಶ್ರೀಚರಣ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾಂಡದಿಂದತ್ತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಶ್ರೀಮುಕುಟ ಅಗಮ್ಯ ಅಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಅಗೋಚರ ಅಪ್ರತಿಮ ಲಿಂಗವೇ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವಯ್ಯ ಎನ್ನ ಕರಸ್ಥಳಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದು ಚುಳುಕಾದಿರಯ್ಯ. This exquisite vachana by Basavanna describes to us the astounding heights with which the supreme reality can be experienced. Similarly, when we study Sri Hanagal Kumar Swamiji's life and mission, it strikes to us that his grand vision for dharma and social work were just as infinite, spreading beyond the measurable small reforms that one could imagine for his times and even now. Jagadagala, Mugilagala, Migeyagala, Nimmagala, Brahmandatindattatta, Pataladindattatta was his work, while he himself was Agamya, Apramana, Agochara, Apratima. We have all heard that in the Hindu Sanatana Dharma, when humanity is on the decline, there will arise a preserver or a protector. Similarly, Sri Hanagal Kumar Swamiji flourished in the 19th century, which was the time when Veerashaiva Lingayata Dharma was prevalent, but it was on the decline due to the compromised standards and power struggles amongst the hands who were entrusted to uphold and promote Shiva Dharma. Incredible is Swamiji's story, a Lingayat boy from North Karnataka who advanced himself swiftly towards knowledge, spirituality, and able gurus in his formative years. He was born with an unusual spark and radiance of a spiritual soul. His was a very poor but cultured family, which had expectations from him to lead a normal life and earn for the family. The pressure was greater after he lost his father early, but it was as though a greater spiritual calling was spiraling up within him and drew him strongly towards Shivayoga sadhana. All chronicles describe Swamiji as a unique young seeker who was very firm that he wanted to dedicate himself to serve the society through knowledge and spiritual pursuits long before he had even been blessed and initiated by a guru. Every milestone in Swamiji's life is noteworthy. When young, braving himself to leave his village and seek refuge in unknown territories on the path of education reveals his unimaginable commitment. Turning away from calls to return home and respectfully declining a loving mother who urges him towards the family way, further highlights a very strong ascetic spark in him, which would not settle for any mundane existence. What is also interesting in Swamiji's young days is the determination with which he continued his journey of spiritual quest and then channelized his learnings to find answers to Ishtalinga Puja and further honed principles of Achara and Vichara. This entire period of youth, when Swamiji was a seeker, he defined his own course of life with intense learning, retrospection, and in anticipation of a guru who could guide him best towards divinity. Even when he was in the midst of a moderately diverse spiritual environment, Swamiji defined his thinking and inclination towards Ishtalinga Puja. An early turning point in Swamiji's life was when he met Sri Basavalinga Swamiji from Yalandur Mutt near Old Mysore and came under his tutelage. The experience with Guru Sri Basavalinga Swamiji was extremely enlightening and foundational for Sri Hanagal Kumar Swamiji. It was the time spent on Shambhulingana Betta where divinity that Swamiji experienced had a whole different vitality. Works of Nijaguna Shivayogigalu, consciousness, renunciation, discipline were all realized with deep meditation on the divine. This is where Sri Hanagal Kumar Swamiji's worth as a Shivayogi was also assessed, and he was initiated formally on the path of Shiva Yoga by his guru. This crucial time instilled the conviction in Swamiji to advocate the union of all Guru Viraktas which had seen major divides, although on the path of dharma. What unfolded next for Hanagal Kumar Swamiji was significant. He was bestowed the Virakta Pitha in Hanagal to lead as the pontiff. At the time, Sri Hanagal Kumar Swamiji's mind was strongly oriented towards addressing the broader disorder in Shiva Dharma, and he did not want to limit himself to a single matha. With much hesitation and great deliberation, Sri Hanagal Kumar Swamiji accepted the responsibility of Hanagal Virakta Matha and served the matha relentlessly before formally becoming its head. From here on, one can observe Swamiji's visionary thoughts and deeds blossoming in succession, imparting Vedic education, providing unconditional Annadasoha even in crisis, financially sponsoring seekers who were interested in learning further were some of his early achievements. With this exemplary spiritual and social work, Swamiji kept working his way towards the bigger problem that endangered Shiva Dharma, the divide and power struggles amongst Virakta Pithas, which had harmed the overall sanctity in the society. He moved from place to place, spreading the message of unity in Shiva Dharma and influenced all Guru Pithas to cast out disparity and feelings of ill will. In essence, Swamiji had started a wave of spiritual awakening, which was the need of the hour. It is critical to note here that the reformation that Swamiji personally undertook came to large-scale fruition when he was joined by another spiritual visionary, Puja Mallannarya of Bagalkot, who fueled Swamiji's vision to establish Akhila Bharata Veerashaiva Mahasabha in 1904, and through the initial conventions of this Mahasabha, the dream to start the religious academy Shivayogi Mandira was fulfilled in 1909. While Akhila Bharata Veerashaiva Mahasabha was founded with a vision to uplift the society in all aspects, education being primary, Shivayogi Mandira was founded to serve as the divine organization to educate spiritual heads with a strong curriculum involving Vedas, science, philosophy, fine arts, and yoga. This was completely revolutionary since it aimed to prepare and position only able spiritual leaders in the society who then would execute on the path of Shiva Dharma for the larger society. Still tucked away in a peaceful environment by the flowing waters of Malaprabha River, Shivayogi Mandira is upholding the Shivayoga dream of Sri Hanagal Kumar Swamiji. The divinity here has to be experienced in person to realize the sanctity and authenticity of Shiva Yoga in practice. Swamiji also took utmost interest in welfare projects in the field of agriculture, cow shelters, Gomutra Kendra, preparation of Vibhuti, Yoga Bhyasa, sponsoring educational institutions, etc. What is extraordinary is how, along with Shiva Dharma and spiritual progression, he transformed the society with progressive reforms that were befitting the early 20th century. His compassionate leadership is noteworthy also in the realm of art and culture, where he groomed spiritual leaders like Panchakshara Gavaigalu and instilled Gana Yoga as the means of devotion, providing a life of purpose for the blind and underprivileged. The acceleration of social work along with spiritual union amongst Veerashaiva Lingayats had never seen exponential heights that we saw in Hanagal Kumar Swamiji's leadership. His vision of Akhila Bharata Veerashaiva Mahasabha and Shiva Yoga Mandira was one to sustain, grow, and cascade from generation to generation. When we observe Swamiji's life and his ethics closely, it's awe-inspiring and equally humbling to see how he was able to accomplish such great feats without seeking a position of power or authority, but by being the force behind them and always encouraging qualified people to take charge. Metaphorically, one could say that Sri Hanagal Kumar Swamiji strongly intertwined Shiva Dharma and society, and the Shiva Patha that he paved with his blood and sweat has impeccable strength to lead us strongly on the path of Shiva Yoga Dharma. Today, spiritual fraternity as well as the common person in Veerashaiva Lingayat Dharma should be supremely grateful to Shri Hanagal Kumar Swamiji for restoring faith and unity in Shiva Dharma at the dawn of 20th century, giving us a legacy of not only spiritual institutions which will continue to protect the faith, but also social work that are catalysts of progress. Although Hanagal Kumar Swamiji is physically no longer with us, he will continue to live in spirit when we keep alive his vision and work on the path of Shiva Dharma. Bhakti-emba prithviya mele, Guruvemba bejavankurisi, Lingavemba yaleya ittu. Lingavemba yaleya mele, Vicharavemba huvayittu. Acharavemba kaya ittu. Nishpatti emba hanna ittu. ನಿಷ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಎಂಬ ಹಣ್ಣು ತೊಟ್ಟು ಕಳಚಿ ಬೀಳುವಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವನು ತನಗೆ ಬೇಕೆಂದು ಎತ್ತಿಕೊಂಡ. Such was the sublime life of Sri Hanagal Kumar Swamiji. Personally, I am blessed to have been introduced to the greatness of Sri Hanagal Kumar Swamiji by my Guru, Mauna Tapasvi Shri Jadaya Shantalingeshwara Swamiji. Guru Parampare is an integral part of Veerashaiva Lingayata Dharma, and today we are fortunate to have spiritual leaders in Veerashaiva Dharma for who there is immense veneration. On Swamiji's 154th birth anniversary, I am very honored for this opportunity to highlight the great saint and visionary that Swamiji was. My sincere gratitude and congratulations to Shri Shrikant Chowkimat Avaru for organizing this beautiful event to commemorate Swamiji's life and mission. Thank you. Sharanu Sharanartigaru.